Okay, greetings YouTube land, I'm Falagar, welcome back to another Let's Play of Grim Dawn. Ashes of Malmouth expansion. It's actually an expansion, not a DLC. I'll be continuing with my Klax the Malign, who's a Kabbalist, which is a combination of Necromancer and Occultist. And there he is, right here. And I named him Klax, just like I have a Klax the Malign also in Diablo 3, who's also a Necromancer. And Klax is from Dungeons and Dragons movie number 2, second one, Wrath of the Dragon God. But before I get into this, I just want to give my thoughts of what I think so far, because I've have some experience with the game now from like the past, like last year and just more recently now, because I've been playing this off camera. I think the last time I recorded was when I just hit 17 now, and I just want to briefly just discuss what I think of this compared to Diablo 3 so far, because I've played Diablo 3 extensively, both on Xbox One and then on PC. I have I think I pretty much have all the characters in Diablo 3 up to level 70, except for a barbarian and a monk. I've yet to really play with those two. I've played some of the barbarian, very little of the monk, but otherwise I have them all at 70, and I've played a couple different variants of them, and I put countless hours into that game. But Grim Dawn is another action RPG or ARPG, and this, it says Ashes of Malmouth because when you download and install the expansion, it changes to that, and it says at the bottom. Otherwise, if you just get Grim Dawn, it would just say Grim Dawn. And this Ashes of Malmouth is a recent release. It just came out this year, this past October 11th. So I'm just getting to this now. There's the Crucible DLC, which I haven't played, which I think it's kind of like an arena style type game. No, not type game, but type pack, I guess. And it's, I'm guessing it's maybe similar to the adventure mode in Diablo 3. What I like about this is that it's, number one, it's kind of fresh, it's different, but yet familiar because of the perspective and the gameplay to, you know, Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. But at the same time, it feels a little different when you move. You know, when you move, it doesn't. It's hard to explain. You can't really explain it. You just have to experience it. When you play it, when you move around, you know, with the mouse and you know, just moving around, it just feels just slightly different. Not, I don't want to say exactly as smooth as Diablo 3. Maybe slightly slower, just by a little bit. There's something different about it, and that's not really a bad thing. It's just it's different. The leveling seems like it's slower progression than Diablo 3. This seems like it's has more of traditional RPG elements to it. You know, like how Skyrim is. It's like a traditional RPG, or trying to like Pillars of Eternity. You know, stuff like that. At least the structure of how you get the quests and stuff. And I even read as well that. And I've already came across like a couple choices like this. One right off that I could think of more recently is there was a choice. I found someone just lying there in the road, and he was stabbed, and he told me to go track this guy down. He took his cart and stabbed him. So when I tracked him down, you know, I accepted the quest. When I tracked that guy down, he told me his side of the story. So then I had to make a decision. Now, you would just think, okay, maybe it's just a little thing that is pretty meaningless, but these little choices that pop up, you know, throughout the course of the game actually influences how the story will play out. So that's cool. You don't get that in Diablo 3. It's kind of like static almost, you know. It is static in Diablo 3. So here, this is like a kind of like a true RPG in that regard. So I love that. The action, at first I was going to say the action is not as chaotic as in Diablo 3, but I came across a few times where there's like a lot of things rushing you on the screen. but still maybe not so much on the level of Diablo 3 so far, but it's still crazy, and it's still very fun. And the powers are great. I wish there was some kind of like a teleport or a rush ability, but I don't know. Maybe I'm still not familiar with all these skills. What else do I want to add to it? Oh, and another element to it is the reputation system. And let me just get right into it right now so you can see what I mean. I know how to open that up. You gain reputation points in favor with certain factions depending upon the choices you make. And I guess like if you go into that area and you maybe kill the people there or something. See the Aetherials, which are like the undead, or what's causing aether, I think, is what's causing the dead to rise. See, I'm hostile towards them, obviously, because I've been killing them. Okay, and with the beasts, I'm despised. See, and it gives you a little backstory as to what each faction is. Devil's Crossing, which is the town I'm in, I'm tolerated. Killing Cronsley's gang. See? And the Rovers, I'm tolerated as well, and the Undead, I'm hostile towards. So apparently, I'm guessing that there are things that happen that at a certain point when I'm fighting these enemies that I can maybe side with them. I'm guessing. So I love that. And because the leveling seems to be slower, at least that's how it feels like to me. I don't know if maybe it's just the difficulty. I don't have it on veteran. See, in Diablo 3 there's many difficulty settings. You know, you have normal, hard, expert, right, master, torment 1 or T1, T2, T3, T4, you know, the torment levels. Here it looks like it's just the normal game, which is already hard. Okay, to be quite honest with you, I'm playing it on normal and it's already hard. And then you have veteran, so maybe it just doesn't need anything else. Now who knows, maybe there's other stuff that I don't know about. And then you have the hardcore setting, which this is hardcore. Oh, see, it says it right there in the upper corner. Oh, you know what, give me a second. Have to move this to the lower corner. That right? Okay. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, because it's covering up my mini-map. And then here I can close that. What's cool about the mini-map is... hold on here. I can change the size of it. I can remember how to do that. Personal rift. Huh. I don't know. There was a way that I was able to make this mini-map a little bit smaller and then this size, or take it off. Okay. Anyways, not important. I made it to the big size, and that's good, I think. But yeah, I just like how you know, how it has more of an RPG feel. I like them both. I can't say which I like more than the other. And I can't say there are things I like over this game, you know, like Diablo over Grim Dawn, and things I like about Grim Dawn over Diablo 3. No, it's just, they're just things that I like, you know, from each of them. There's nothing really I can say I dislike. You know, I also like the environment, the art style of this. You can tell it's different. This is put up by Crate, and you can tell the art style is different from Blizzard's. It's Grim Dawn, so it has that apocalyptic look and feel to it. Oh, and that's another thing too. And because it's taking place during post-apocalyptic times, of course you have the guns and stuff like that. You can see barrels and stuff like that. Just like with the Fallout series, see that the items here, they look as if they could have been made by what was remained during the or what remained or was left over after the nuclear apocalypse or whatever this. I think this is like might have taken place or might have been brought on by some kind of nuclear apocalypse or something. I'm not too clear, or I might have missed it or something. But just whatever they were able to scrounge up, like whatever material from maybe abandoned buildings and factories and stuff, and they just forged them into weapons. So I love that. Just similarly to in Fallout with the guns and stuff like that. How they what some of the guns that they have, like it looks like they use like a block of wood as like the pump part of the gun, the barrel part, that you grip. So they kind of constructed their own kind of rifle out of an existing rifle. So I love that. There was a pipe rifle, I think it's called, right? Or pipe rifle, stuff like that. So that has that similar feel. Even like with the armor, it just looks like it's patched together by, if you just look at me, just like existing clothing from the modern times, before the apocalypse and what was left over from after it. And also with items, I don't know, I think I read it for the expansion, it changed the level cap to 100 from like level 70 to 100, I think. But because the progression is very slow, it's going to take a long time. And from what it seems like with Diablo 3, the thing is you want to get to level 70 as quickly as possible, because that's kind of when the game truly begins, right? Because when you hit 70, you get end game equipment. All the items that drop are level 70. It's similarly to in ESO, where you want to hit champion level 160. You want to get to 50 and then start getting into the champion levels and hit champion level 160, because that way all the items that drop are going to be your permanent items. You're not going to be constantly swapping them out. In here, this, at least what it seems like to me, it seems like it's just a constant thing. And it's kind of refreshing that it's like that, because I don't have to worry about hurrying up to reach like max level. You just play it naturally like you would an RPG. Like when you play Skyrim, you don't think about, I got to reach max level, right? In here, it has that similar feel for me. You just play it naturally. Whatever drops, you just upgrade it. Just like anything else. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a level cap on equipment. When you hit 100, I think it's 100, like I said, and then that would be your end equipment, and then the game truly begins. But I don't think it's really like that at all. And I think with that Crucible thing, that's just to get you some extra levels to grind out like a few levels or so when you encounter an area that seems to be tough. For example, I was going up this way north, and things are getting progressively tougher. I fixed the bridge that was down over here, and I'll just get to it. And the enemies down here, see, it's gone here, but there was a thing here, and I fixed this bridge. Oh, here, it seems to be, oh shit, exponentially tougher. Maybe exponentially tougher is not exactly the word, but a lot tougher, than, and it just, a lot tougher than what was up over here. What is this? That was weird. I didn't see that. When I go over here, Oh, what is this? Malamoth. Okay, this must be the DLC place. Oh, wow. It opens up. Okay, so this is, wow, it really expanded. Oh, they can add like even more stuff. So, oh my god, okay. Yeah, I don't want to. Okay, this is great. So it's the world of Cairn. But things seem like they're like a lot tougher here, and they were progressively getting tougher as it was getting up to going more west, right? So yeah. And it doesn't warn you. There's no warning like this area is going to be tough and stuff like that. It's just like a classic RPG, like Might and Magic, for example. You doesn't seem like there's any like scaling to your level. It's just things are like tougher. But who knows? Maybe they'll scale too. Maybe they do a little bit of both, but the majority of it is depending upon that. Determines the difficulty is the area that you are in. Let's see. Let's test this out. If I was to step out here, and let's just begin. Let's see if I take some hits. I don't want to. I don't know. See, my minions are killing them really fast. But anyways, it's like it doesn't warn you. See, when you just look at this map, it doesn't say here you should be level 30 and then 50 or 70 here. You know what I mean? You'll stumble into an area, and the way that it's hard is if you start losing life and you start things start getting harder, and you start getting in danger of dying, right? So I really like that. Okay, so anyways, let's begin, and I'm just trying to think if there's any closing comments I have to make about the two between Diablo 3 and Grim Dawn, and I really can't think of anything. Well, I have to say that I do love the looks of the skeletons here, because you can tell I have a different variety of them. See, I have some bowmen. Eventually you can get mages. And see how some have swords, axes, maces. So I really love that. There's a more variety in the kind of summons you have. Whereas the skeletons in Diablo 3 are just all the same. You have this, and then to get a separate kind of skeletons, and those are only temporary. They only last I think 5 or 6 seconds, I think, are the skeleton mages. But other than that, I mean, that's it. The regular skeletons are just regular. Here, it's all random, and you can get like a different mixture, variety of different skeletons. And I was thinking that in D3, the Necromancer has a more vast army, but I'm looking at this, and this is actually quite big, and I'm thinking about D3. The army is not that vast, because if you think about it, for D3, you just have your 7 skeletons, your golem, and that's really it. So that's like 8 things, and then I think you can have, and then the mages, but those are like temporary. But in terms of permanent ones that are not on timers, I think it's just your 7 skeletons and your golem. So that's really it. So here I have like 8 right here, 9, 10, 11. And then I think there's equipment that can give me even more skeletons, right? So yeah, this, I don't know what to say. I'm really digging this game, and I don't mind the slightly slower pace. And when I say slightly, I mean slightly. It's not like and this is compared to D3. When you compare this to, like, let's say Skyrim, even though it's a totally different type of RPG. This is an action RPG, and Skyrim is like more traditional RPG, I guess. Even though it's mainstream, but I'm not going to get into that. The action here is a lot quicker pace than that, but this one has like a nice mixture of traditional RPG and an ARPG, I find. And you know, the action in D3 moves a lot quicker, but this one is it's still fast. It's just slightly slower combat. Okay, I just want to make that clear. So don't think that it's like it's going to be boring. I mean, you saw to it already in the first part, but now I've gotten more of the hang of it. Oh, and that's another thing too. So I mean, you'll see it when I get into combat. Let me audio. I think I'm good with the volume settings, audio settings. How do I get into? There's a. It's kind of like the tree. Not the skill tree, but they're kind of like the constellations. Maybe it's over here. Oh, here, this is the compass toggle. See? Oh, here. No. Is it K? Hold on. I have to figure out how to... How do I get into it? Oh, this is not good. Codex map, chat, group window. W to switch weapons. X is tool tips. Maybe. That's the time. Oh, here. Okay, hold on. Celestial powers. Maybe that's it. Yeah, see, devotion window. In the devotion window. Is it D? P. Oh, here. Yeah, the devotion window opens up, and it's kind of like where you put champion points in and stuff, but unlike that, where you have to reach champion levels, in here it's just by when you cleanse a shrine, right? It gives you a point, and right now I did 4 of them. So now, okay, I'm getting there. I just have to figure out how to get to devotion window. How do I get to it? I don't believe it. Oh, here. Okay. Okay, there we are. Leg itched. Okay, see, I have 4. You see? So there are different I guess devotions, that's what they are. Not constellations, but it's in the stars. And you put points, and then you can, like if I want to go this route, I have to put something here. Right? And then you make a path. But I won't mess with this just yet. Okay. The Warden. I'll go ahead and start this. John Bourbon believes that the ethereal responsible for the atrocities at Burwich has possessed the body of the former Warden of Devil's Crossing, King Craig. According to the logs in the prison, Warden Craig, or whatever he has become, was experimenting on prisoners in a secret laboratory underneath his mansion in Burwich proper. The laboratory can be accessed via the Warden's cellar underneath his estate in Burwich. Access the Warden. I think I remember doing this one too. From last year. Burwich. Burwich Estate. You know what? There's no fast way of... Sherman's Arcana, Trinkets, Charms, and Sentries. Nice. I guess certain movies that can help to get into this type of post-apocalyptic game would be things like Steel Dawn, starring Patrick Swayze, She, starring Sandal Bergman, Wizards, it's an animated Ralph Bakshi, or Baki, Ralph Bakshi, I think is what it is. Same guy who did the Hobbit animated. And there was another one. I can't think of it. But Steel Dawn, She, Wizards,